Welcome to FF Uncensored.
I was gonna say, like, do we need to say something about it not being live? But
I don't know.
live isn't part of FF. It's not like FF Uncensored live. This is FF recorded, but
Nope,
kind of
I don't
live
think so.
because we're not going to do like multiple takes. So
We don't. This is all like one take, watch us go.
let's do it. All right, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to chat about what happens when you hit your goal, the elusive goal.
So, I mean, the first thing we should probably define is like, what is the goal, right? Was the goal, it probably is like weight loss, right? So, let's say the goal was losing 10 pounds. I lost my 10 pounds and now I'm there. Like, what do I do now?
Oh, are you asking me? What do I do there?
It's kind of a
I,
rhetorical
I,
question.
I felt like it was. So, I actually got this, well, kind of a variation of this in the gym. Is a client said that she's like, when she gets to that end point, I'm like, okay, well, like, what's the end point? And what does that mean? Like, when you get there, what does that really mean to you? Because, like, the idea is that not just that you lose 10 pounds, the idea is that you weigh 10 pounds less permanently. Like,
Correct.
I think, like, so what did you take to get to lose that 10 pounds? What actions, what habits, who is the person that is 10 pounds lighter? And what does that person have to do to maintain that 10-pound weight loss? It's not like so often we think of like training as like this end destination. Like, I love a good destination and a good target. Like, I'm going to run a 10K. I'm going to do this Olympic lifting meet. I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to train for it. But like, we're not just training to be 10 pounds less or anything like that. Like, we want to be that person all of that time. So that means stuff has to stick around.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting. I think it depends on the goal, right? But if it's a weight loss goal, right, you probably just need to keep doing what you're currently doing, right? Most likely, or you need to find what what your level of moderation looks like that allows you to kind of stay within that range, right? Because most
Or
likely
like what
to
a lot of people would call maintenance, like a maintenance phase.
a maintenance phase, right? Because you probably had to do certain things to get there, right? We had to get into a deficit. We maybe increasing the amount of exercise we were doing, really cognizant about our food. Maybe you can back off a little bit and then maintain in there within a couple pounds. So there's maybe not as much focus on it. So that becomes a little bit easier. But honestly, if we're looking at like a fitness standpoint, like if you're training for a 5K or a 10K, you're probably doing more running, right? And so you're including that. And so you can decide afterwards, do I enjoy running all that much? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And if you don't, then like move into other things that you maybe do enjoy. And so I think once you realize that there is no destination,
The destination is the journey.
kind of, right? Just starting to enjoy the challenge of and all the other benefits that you get from showing up on a regular basis, right? So the brain benefits we get, the longevity benefits that we get, just the endorphins and how we feel, right? Because eventually you get to a point where it's like, if I'm eating crappy or if I'm not working out, like I just don't feel very good, right? And
No.
so that's enough incentive to continue to show up to do it. Maybe you're not doing it at a level 10. Maybe you're doing it at like a level 7 and like fluctuating in there. And then maybe you do bump it up to a level 10 when you want to do X, Y, and Z. Cool. But it's just like you just move the dial to where you're at. This isn't like a I do it or I don't do it type of thing.
Well, and it's not like an end destination. Like with like, yes, there's end destinations for this, but like weight loss, like you're in this, you're starting these habits and you get the weight loss. And I think like this is the biggest one that I see it with is like the journey doesn't end just because you hit your goal. Because if you want to maintain that goal and you want to keep those things, like you have to keep going. Like it just doesn't stop there. So like, someone joins the gym, they say, I want to lose 25 pounds. And I'm like, okay, we can lose 25 pounds in 25 weeks. And I'm just giving you half a year. You need to be here for 6 months and we can get those kind of results. And that's just like some rough estimates of losing a pound a week is good, stable weight loss. But like, when you weigh 25 pounds less or 10 pounds less or whatever you want that number to be, what does your life look like then? Like, I think that's what you guys like looking at. This is your goal and this is where you want to be. But like, what does your life look like when you're a person that weighs 10 pounds less, 20 pounds less, 30 pounds less, whatever that goal is? What does it look like? Like, what hobbies do you have? What things do you do? What do you enjoy doing? How often do you work out? Like really building that story that you of the person that you are, so you can see it actually play in your head. And if like you are someone that wants to weigh less, like the activity and the movement and all of that stuff is a part of that. And it needs to be. Otherwise, what got you there in the first place is just going to come back in and live in your life.
And kind of on that note too, if you don't quite know what that looks like, right? There's plenty of examples, right, of people who have accomplished what you want to accomplish, and what do they look like now, right? And that can give you a pretty good idea on the things that you're going to need to do, or how you're going to need to see yourself when you do ultimately make that happen, right? And then you have to be like, is it worth the trade-off, right? Is it worth? Because everything in life is like, if I'm doing this, I'm not doing something else, right? And so is it, if I decide that I want to be really fit, right, I probably got to work out more than the average person. My hobbies probably are movement, or they're probably like movement based, right? I like to hike, or I like to cross country ski, or I like to, you know, go for walks, or yada, 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 right? But that's going to be at the expense of sitting around, you know, drinking lots of beers, right? Like, and so you kind of have to decide. So there's that.
I mean, there are things that people who live healthy lifestyles do more than regular people, and things they do less than regular
Mhm.
people.
And it doesn't need to be this like, okay, if I'm going to be super healthy, I can't ever have a drink again. This is not the case, right? But most likely people who are fit and are relatively healthy, that's just not a big part of their life. Like at this stage in life, in college, I think you can make it happen because our life is different, right? I had plenty of friends who were athletes that exercised 2-3 hours a day because we had practices, that drank copious amounts of alcohol, and were
But you
able to
also have
maintain.
you have literally the lowest amount of work that you're doing on a daily basis, like the amount of time you're in class, and your ability to recover and sleep is
Yeah, way
significantly better.
way
Like
better, right?
like you just have
There's,
all these other things too that are there and easy.
there's a
But
lot
I
of
will
things in
say,
your favor, like, and you haven't completely screwed up your gut microbiome at that point yet either, and so like,
you basically haven't screwed yourself up yet at 22. But
no.
I will say that if I have a couple cocktails and I want to get a workout in at 5:30 a.m. the next day, I promise you I'm probably hitting the snooze and blowing off my workout. And not drinking makes it easier to show up at 5 a.m. or 5:30 or 10 a.m. even. So like there is the trade-off, like not this
Well,
for
you
this.
just
And like
the trade
I
off.
know that
The trade off is you have to have your cocktails earlier in the evening so you can still get to bed to get up for your workout.
yeah, but I don't sleep as good. So then I lose quality sleep and then my workout performance is declined.
So right, so we have to. Everything is a trade off, right? And see, I always like to think about drinking as like stealing happiness, and when I would say drinking, like more than just a couple drinks, right? So every drink after a couple of drinks, you're essentially just stealing happiness from the next day. So you're choosing more happiness now for less happiness tomorrow. And is more happiness
And
now more valuable than less happiness than the
but
happiness?
it's also instant gratification.
Mhm.
God, I feel like we could have a whole episode about this. And we were literally just talking about what you need to do. Like, you hit your goal, and what do you do? Okay, so Trevor, I hit my goal. What is one thing you're going to tell me as my coach to help me? Or one thing you'll have me do? What are you going to tell me?
Well,
I
one,
hit
I
my
think,
goal.
well, number one, I think we celebrate, right? I think it's important to celebrate the work that it takes to get places rather than just thinking about the next thing, right? And then I'm probably going to challenge you to be like, okay, cool. Like, let's say it's a weight loss goal, right? And you lost the weight, you lost 25 pounds. Awesome. Like, phenomenal goal. I'm probably, and now you're more of like where you want to be and where you feel great. We might look at something that you're interested in physically. All right, is there a physical thing that you could go after here for a period of time? Do you want to do a mud run? Do you want to do a 5K? Do you want to participate in a powerlifting contest? What are the things that maybe interest you that gives you that next mile marker that you can look for? Because I think early on you need lots of mile markers because you need to kind of have that next thing to chase. but eventually you will get to a point where you don't need mile markers anymore. Like I don't need to have to sign up for a race for me to go to the gym. I want to go to the gym because I like going to the gym. I like how I feel when I come home from the gym. I like what it does to my body, and I have enough intrinsic motivation to show up most of the time. If I do want to run, great. Then I may tweak my training in order to be better at the thing that I'm going to. But I don't need that on the calendar in order to like keep me going. Like, because I've been doing this for
A lifetime. Just say a lifetime.
25 years,
Just say a
right?
lifetime.
But like, you don't, for people that are new to this kind of stuff, like, you don't get that right. Like, that's just not what you get right away. And so having those mile markers or the carrots that you can chase for a while, that gets you into this, just building the routine.
Okay, so I will say, like, I agree. Like, I can show up at the gym. Like, there is no, like, I will be there whether my workout is quality or it's just me there kind of going through the motions, which I am totally for being at the gym and going through the motions. If like that's what you need to do. There are times where I do that and I do 5 or 6 exercises and that's what it is. And that's cool. When I want to do something like a run, I'm not a runner, but I do think like it's kind of fun to do stuff that you're uncomfortable with. And I'm very comfortable making myself uncomfortable. I sign up for a race and then I force myself to run. I need to make sure I'm still faster than someone in the zombie apocalypse.
True. Because if you're the
And
slowest, like, you're getting eaten
you're getting eaten. Like
for
you
sure.
cannot be in the slopes. You need to
Guaranteed.
be like middle of the pack at least.
I'll let you know.
So
So there's probably going to be a lot of zombies. So I would probably want to be faster than 10 to 15 people in a group of 100 because there's probably going to be multiple zombies. And like, they're definitely like, it's going to be like 2 zombies to 1 person is kind of
well,
what I
hold
think would
on.
be
What
an
if they're like
appropriate ratio.
World War Z zombies like swarm in mass groups? So any which way, I want anyway, so I
They're
will run and
they're
sign up for
still gonna
races.
always go for the weaker ones. Like, it does,
That
like,
is
they're gonna find the weaker ones, the slower ones, because they're just
yeah.
easier. Zombies are just
So
like humans. They take the path of least
mm,
resistance.
so for me to run, I have to usually sign up for something to get me to run because I'm just not in the habit to go for a run. That does not. I'm not Erin who will just go out and go for a run on Tuesday because she thought it sounded like a fun idea. But I will decide at 3 o'clock in the afternoon that I feel like swinging a kettlebell, and I will walk into the gym and do a kettlebell based workout because I like that and that sounds like fun to me. Yes, it's super disturbed, but I will do it, and I have done it a lot of times. So like, there's also the point of like finding activity that you enjoy doing. Like strength training needs to be a part of it. I think like hands down you need 2 or 3 hours of strength training in the gym. But like if you don't want to spend any more time in the gym and you want to hike or mountain bike or swim or whatever thing, you can definitely include that in your life and do stuff you enjoy. Just don't completely give up the strength training because the benefits for longevity are just too big to give up.
I would agree. Um, I don't know. I look at the gym as I also look at it as like mini challenges. So, like, in life, we're very rarely are we like in today's modern age, right? We're very rarely like challenged outside of like stress and that kind of stuff. Like, but I mean, like, physically challenged. Like, you could get through life without really doing much, right? And so I also see the gym as a way for me to continue to flex that muscle a little bit of like being uncomfortable for a period of time, right? If I have a heavy set, the last couple reps are probably going to be uncomfortable that I need to fight through. If I'm doing a VO2 max day, it's not going to be a comfortable experience for most of it. And like being okay with it not being comfortable because of the impact that it's going to have. Like, after I get done with a VO2 day, I feel good. Like, there's a level of accomplishment going into a VO2 day. I'm like, I never want to do this. I don't want to do it. Right. But I think doing things that you don't want to do is a very important skill to continue to work on. And so that's how I've framed workouts in order to feel better about them.
I like it. All right, guys. That's going to be our wrap up for today. So, if you take anything, if you hit your goal or you're getting close, start thinking of what your next achievement and direction you want to go in. Because it is a journey, not a final destination with your health and wellness.
Well said, Coach. We're out.
Oh, thanks, coach. Bye, guys.